What's going on, guys? Got a pretty cool video for today. EA finally released their NHL 21 franchise mode deep dive, so just gonna give you guys all my thoughts on this. I think I've already touched on a lot of this in my features list video. We can kind of just go more in depth here. So starting off, the trade deadline completely revamped. It's kind of like its own mini game now. You can see because of that, you no longer have champion, contender, hopeful, rebuilder. It's actually buyer, conservative seller, and seller, and you actually set that yourself. So you let the teams know going hard, buying a little bit, selling a little bit, or selling really hard. So you maybe have a superstar on the block, things like that. So right there you can see update trade status. You can actually choose which one you want to be. Then once you get to the trade deadline, you get this screen. So a whole new screen, very cool. You see Alex Pietrangelo here. So he's on the block. You got his age, his height, weight. Doesn't really matter too much. Trade value, that's a big thing. Overall potential. You can see they have the return. They want a top forward prospect, so you actually know kind of what they're going to want, which are obviously going to help you make the trade happen. If you have a defensive prospect, maybe it's hard to make the trade happen. And if you have what they want, which is a forward, contract, of course. The other team's interested, so you know how many teams you're bidding against, how much tougher it's going to be to get him. If there's like 7 other teams interested, you definitely have to make a better offer than say if there's only 1 or 0 teams interested. And you can see the other top players on the trade block as well: Jacob Markstrom, Matt Barzal. He's always on the block, even in NHL 21. I feel bad for Islanders fans. Curious to see what happens with him this summer. Logan Couture there as well with the Sharks. As well at the bottom there, you can see a ticker that actually shows the current standings. I really like that in terms of trading for draft picks. So you know if a team offers you a first round pick, you can see that ticker and you actually know maybe they're in the playoffs, out of the playoffs, how much is that first round pick really going to be worth. You can see here, you can sort by available players and view each team's movable assets. So you look at the Ducks. You got Cam Fowler. This next screen here, I think is the top 10 players still available. Above that is definitely the top 10 players, starting with Pietrangelo, then Markstrom, Barzal, Couture. I believe it's sorted overall. So Pietrangelo's a 90, Markstrom's probably 88, Barzal 88, same with Couture. And my bad, guys, this screen here actually is showing which players have already been traded. So you can see Marc-Andre Fleury says sold. One thing I don't like though, teams interested, you can see Carolina, Detroit, Ottawa. It doesn't tell you who you got traded to. That's one thing I hope they can change in an update. Trade alerts, you can see in the ticker. Foligno, Savard traded. Obviously, we know Savard's traded. He's in the bottom there. Gustafsson, Strome as well. Third screen here, Barzal, you can see still available. I feel bad for Islanders fans. Ducks, Leafs, Carolina. 86 overall. Okay, so if that's with Fog of War on, you better be high rated than that in NHL 20, I swear. And the next here it says, once the clock strikes, you're going to be presented with every move made and on your way to the back half of the season. You can see there, Columbus trade, Montreal, Minnesota, Colorado got Bukestad, Buffalo, Montreal got Frolik. Again, so it ends at noon. I think it starts at like 6 a.m. or whatever. Yeah, 6 a.m. So you get 6 hours. In real life time, I think it's more like 15 minutes. And kind of once you do all your trades, it does sometimes feel a bit long. And after that, the next new big feature is the record book. This is something we needed for a while. Right here you can see all-time NHL career stats. So most games played, you got Gordie Howe there, 1767. So if you have a guy you draft and you do like a 20-year franchise, maybe somehow it's Gordie Howe. Actually, I don't even know a 25-year franchise would be enough, honestly. That's something to kind of think about. Maybe you're be a pro, you try and pass Gordie Howe. Most goalie games played, most goals there. Gretzky, you know, you'll see if Ovi passed them or not in your sim. Most points as well. You can see there's actually tons of stuff. So games played, goals, points, assists, wins, shutouts, 50-goal seasons. That's pretty cool. 100-point seasons as well. So some really cool stuff to try and beat. I also have all-time NHL season stats. So most games played in a season. Grant Fuhr played 79 games. As a goalie, that's kind of ridiculous. Most goals in a season, of course, Gretzky, assists, points, shutouts, wins. So you have records to try and break each season, as well as over the course of your entire franchise, which I really like. You've also got all-time rookie stats. Solani there, most goals, 76 his rookie year. Just ridiculous. Points there, Solani as well, 132. Assists, wins, shutouts, franchise leader, so I like this. If you're playing as the Penguins, you get the next, Sid the Kid or something. He's got 1336 points. You can see seasons played for the team, assists, penalty minutes even, all-time Lemieux, current Crosby, so that's cool too. Who won it right now holds the record, and then who all-time has the record. I really like that. Right there you gotta look at the Vancouver Canucks, New York Rangers there, Krasov, current 11 assists. They must have just started the season. Toronto Maple Leafs there, looking at the goalie stats. So again, some really cool stuff just to try and have an extra goal, I think, when you're playing franchise. Also, they've actually added multiple positions now. So JT Miller, you can see center or left wing. I think that's reflected. He's got like pretty decent face-offs, I've noticed. So now when you have a guy like JT Miller, I think Jeff Skinner's got like 80 face-offs for some reason. You'll know like this guy can play on the wing, can play center. Really versatile. I feel like a versatile forward probably should have a bit more trade value. I'm not sure if they actually will, but with line chemistry, I think this is definitely huge. And I think because of this, though, you can no longer change position in franchise mode. People would do that to kind of, cheat the chemistry system a little bit. Now, it makes it a bit more authentic in my opinion. Also, too, it'll help generate better lines with the best lines feature. You've also got draft class quality and generated prospect quality. I really like this. So you can see draft class quality there. You can do low, medium, and high, similar to like the Sim Engine scoring. So is it going to be a low draft class like 2012, high like 2015, 2003, somewhere in the middle? So as the name suggests, draft class quality determines how good the overall draft is, while the generated prospect quality will determine how good the individual prospect is. So I feel like you could have, some weird things here. Maybe you make it a low draft class quality like they did with a high generated prospect. So overall, like the draft class is terrible, but then you have, 4 or 5 absolute studs every draft. So basically, if you're not picking top 5, you're getting nobody, I feel like, if it was a low draft class, but a high, generated prospect. Draft pick trade logic, you can see, is also different now. CPU-controlled teams will refrain from putting their draft picks on the trade block early in the season. Waiting until the team is more established later in the campaign. It makes a lot of sense. You might think you're a playoff team, trade deadline comes around, you've already traded your first-round pick. I feel like that makes a lot of sense to kind of hold off on trading picks until closer to the deadline. They've also revamped trade value of players, so it says here how the higher-end players should, reflect that, being harder to get. A guy like McDavid, higher value, harder to acquire. It also says certain positions, center and defense, will have higher value than goalie and winger. Now, I feel like they already did this, and I feel like that was enough, maybe even slightly too much. So if they did it more, I don't know. I feel like an 85 winger should be equal to like an 84 center. You shouldn't have to trade an 85 winger to get like an 82 center. I think that's, too much of a difference. Even for defense too, I think they did this basically based on the Hall for Larson trade, but everyone knew that was a bad trade. So we'll see kind of how the position thing works. Hopefully it's not too heavily skewed on either side. And lastly here, just says in closing, we're excited about the new additions we've added this year. Let us know what you think and what you'd like to see down the line. So another thing that wasn't mentioned here, unless it's been changed since I played the game, first round picks are now worth a lot more, which I think is good. First rounders should be worth more. You should be able to get them for just like a low end rental. You should actually have to give up something of value. Also, too, in regards to making trades, the trade logic is supposed to be better now. You see like less weird things where teams like, oh, we're saving money to resign a guy when you're offering them a prospect on an entry-level deal. Other weird things where maybe you offer them like 3 first-round picks to take a guy on a bad contract, 1 year left, they say no, or ask them to retain salary 50% at the deadline, they say, oh, we're not comfortable with that, even though they have 20 million in cap space and it's 50% the deadline. Weird things like that should be fixed. Also, just overall, the trade, like IQ, whatever you want to call it, is supposed to be better. I'm pretty sure as well the fine trade has been retuned to actually work a lot more. I know before you put McDavid on the block and you barely get any offers, and the offers were like a high-end prospect in first. McDavid on the block, every single GM should be calling you, making you an offer. So now, higher end players using the trade finder should actually find you some more realistic trades. But I think that's pretty much it, guys, for NHL 21 franchise mode. I'm definitely excited. I think the record book's awesome. I think the trade deadline's awesome. Obviously, franchise mode is my favorite game mode, so really excited to kind of get into it and start making some videos for you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, leave in the comments section. If you did, leave that thumbs up. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do that. And besides that, thank you guys as always for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.